Hello, everyone. Welcome to day one of FUSIONCon, our second event, which is FUSIONTalks. We will start at 5:35 and it is 5:36, so we are already a minute late. Round of applause. Woo! Woo! For you werewolf fans. So this is how it's gonna go. In this event, we will have Fusion members talk about various topics that they are passionate about. These topics can have a range of interesting topics, such as nuclear reactors, Bobo propaganda, two different versions of memes, and all that jazz. After each presentation is finished, we will transition to the next presenter. Today, we have 8 presenters who have worked hard, I hope. During each presenter, please be respectful of them. Please mute yourself. Please try not being too distracting. And yeah, and remember, this is a fun event, so have fun. And with that, let's start off with our first presenter, which I forgot to put. Let's begin with our first presenter, which is Elise Limhoko. I hope I pronounced her last name right. And her topic is Minecraft. She is not here, so she made a video. Can you hear this now?
Hey everyone, I'm Elise Limhoko.
Yes.
And she, her, hers.
Pronoun-
I'm a third year
good
computer
hearing?
science and engineering major, and today I'll be presenting about Minecraft,
Enjoy.
Harry Potter Server Edition. And so here's the outline of what I'll be going through. Let's dive right in. So what is the Harry Potter Minecraft server? Basically, it's a Minecraft massive multiplayer online role-playing game, more PG, that is based on the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Here, everything is given its own name just to prevent copyright. So Harry Potter is now Henry Porter. Even new stories are made to fit the world. And non-staff members are called students, and they will complete quests and take interactive classes to level up and progress through the years. And then staff members are called different things based on their title and their position. So to join the server, first you need to change your version to 1.12.2. That's the recommended version. If you need help learning how to, you can scan this QR code, but make sure to have Minecraft Java Edition. So this is the IP address. And so once you first join, you'll be taken to the joining hub. From there, you can talk to this NPC to start your journey and go through the intro quest. So after you complete the intro quest, there will be a broadcast message announced server-wide saying IGN has been sorted into whatever house. So why am I telling you about this? It's kind of interesting as a server. It's kind of like Disneyland, but Harry Potter universe and more interactive. There's a lot of tea, low key, but it's actually a cool online community with people from all walks of life. So what does the server offer? The server has a lot of interactive dynamic activities related to the Harry Potter universe and then some. Such of those activities include live classes. So you can scan this QR code to view it yourself, but essentially the live classes are set times where a professor volunteer will run through some notes, introduce, and give you an assignment. I'll go into that later, but some examples of some subjects are dance, flying potions, dueling, wizards PE, mythology, ancient studies. And so to join a class, or at least a scheduled one, around the time that the class is scheduled to begin, you'll see this message in chat. You click this message in game to be taken to the queue, and that will teleport you to the class momentarily. So in a class, there will be a professor and some helpers. Here's some pictures of a classroom, another classroom, another classroom. So once the class begins, the professor will introduce themselves, go over some rules, then they'll go straight into the notes. After the notes, there'll be an assignment. During the assignment period, students can raise their hand and ask any questions that they have. And so here's some examples of some questions that students have usually. But for the assignment, here's an example one for Defense Against the Dark Arts. There's usually 2 options, and for this class, there is a writing assignment. Depending on the class, there can be interactive activities and no written assignment, or a written assignment. So the best O+ grade assignments or winning students get a broadcasted announcement in chat of their victory. And with that broadcasted announcement, you earn house points, and that's why it's the house points chat. And so the way that you can earn house points depends on the class type, such as, is it notes-based, is it activity-based, and so on. And so by completing or attending the classes, you earn academic credits that can be used to level up. And so as you level up at certain levels, you will graduate a year. So you go from first year, second year, all the way to seventh year and graduate. As you level up and get more levels, you unlock spells to make you stronger. Another way to level up is to do the quests on the world map. You can scan this QR code here to view it yourself. But as you can see, the world map is pretty large, and that means there's a lot of quests. So these quests work with plugins and resource packs, so no mods are needed. And so here's some examples of some builds on the server, some towns that you visit: London, Diagonal Lane, as its lore name, train station, Caldwell Pitch, Groundskeeper's Hut. As you can see, they try to keep it close to how it is in the movies as well. Here's a floor plan of the castle. As you can see, it's quite large and a bit hard to navigate for beginners usually, but you get used to it as you explore, especially the inside of the castle. State Hall, Transfiguration Courtyard, and they try to include Easter eggs as well as many things from the books and movie series as possible. So here's the sink in the Harry Potter series part of book 2. You can interact with this and enter the Chamber of Mysteries. So throughout the world, you can encounter a variety of mobs. They try to make it true to their actual description. But besides those, there's also special events such as the May the 4th event. As you can see, there's the Millennium Falcon docking at the school. There's also special winter events as well, such as visiting the Japan Wizarding School, Mahunashiro. There's also games you can play on the side. So the jobs I do on the server is essentially volunteering, and I got paid with in-game currency used to purchase cosmetics. There's currently around 130 volunteer staff members in 6 different departments: academics, community management, development, media, build, and game design. There's also team positions, but they're not really staff. And so here's some examples of cosmetics that you can buy: hats, pets, and packages. Some go up like as low as $2 and as high as $50. So interestingly, you can trade gold in-game currency to buy one of these store items. Like someone will use their actual money and buy it for you, and you just give them your gold. That can be also traded for instead of store items like Steam gift cards or Discord Nitro. So one of my positions is a class helper. I'm basically a teaching assistant. I will assist the professors in the live classes that are being taught by answering questions, reading and grading assignments, announcing, and help moderate. I also write lesson plans if I want to be promoted to a professor to use my future classes, and I will use the server tech to help create interactive classes. Another position that I have is a scribe intern. I normally write Wikipedia pages on the server in British English, and that it usually is about certain types of pages, such as mod pages, general information pages, and that involves usually looking at different spreadsheets of data and watching YouTube videos on the history of the server and going in the field. Some other unofficial work that I do is having an unofficial quest guide that covers a lot of the quests on the server. That's essentially helping new students like walk through step by step on how to complete quests. I also help maintain a riddles database filled with answers and make and collect documents. Some of those documents include Desmos map graphing of nodes on the server that you can collect items from. Some other spreadsheets that I collect are spreadsheets on hidden chest locations or plant locations, as well as maze maps that some other player made in Google Sheets. So the tea on the server. Interestingly, there's actual dating on the server. You can usually tell when people are dating if they have matching profile pictures, their nickname is kind of the same, and their statuses kind of match. And there's also roleplay families where essentially if you're in a friend group, you can have a nickname, and that nickname will have the same last name. And so it's just a way of saying, hey, I'm part of this friend group. And there's also roleplay weddings as well. Here's a snapshot of one. Also, the server is low-key TikTok famous. One of the TikToks got 500,000 views. Another one got a decent amount as well. And so you can scan these QR codes to view them. Also, on the server, it's among the kids on the server, it's kind of a trend from TikTok to talk about reality shifting, which is a way to train your mind to have an out-of-body experience, and in this case, transport yourself to Hogwarts. This is mainly generalized to live out a fantasy of being Draco Malfoy's significant other. You can scan this QR code to watch this informative video on it. It's very interesting. And yeah, that is the end. You can scan this to learn how to join the server, and thank you for watching.
Woo! Round of applause for Elise if you guys can hear me, which I know you can. Oh, round two? Just kidding. I'm joking. Crazy. All right. With that, I hope you guys are interested in Minecrafting. Oh my gosh. Up next, we have Ian Cumming talking about pizza. Pizza. I'll stop sharing now. Ian, if you are
I am good to go. I will share my screen.
Wow, you are
and,
huge in my screen.
Oh,
No, that's good.
on that note, can everyone see? Awesome.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fusion Talks. My name is Ian. I'm here to give you a pizza of my mind on why you should make your own pizza. Hold the applause and the $100 bills and handshakes for the end, please. My agenda for today: I'm going to talk about why it's fun. I'm going to talk about why it's useful. I'm going to talk about why it's easy. I'm going to talk about why it's cheap. These are all good things for you. Okay, self-fulfillment, enjoyment, financial stability, and having an easy life. These are core things to a good lifestyle, and all of them can be achieved by making pizza. First of all, it's fun. Look at this stock photo. Do you see how happy these people? I mean, like 3 of them are smiling, 2 of them have like neutral expressions, but they're all together. They're all making pizzas. Look at those. Look at those down there. They got the bowl. They got their toppings. They got their little pizzas. They're having fun. You know, remember having fun with like your friends in person? I've been at home for like a year, but don't worry about that. If you know how to make pizza, will be able to do things like this with your friends, with your family. It's going to be great, just like a stock photograph. Other thing, it is useful. Being able to make food for yourself is a useful skill. Do you see this stock photograph? Another stock photograph, I know, but you know, they're stock photographs for a reason. They're like canonical. This is the ideal like pizza making setup. Now, this presentation won't go over all of this. We'll be going over like a simple pizza, pretty straightforward, a good entry level pizza. But this is just, you know, this is the goal. Maybe it doesn't have to be your goal, but you know. So now that we've got why it's fun and useful out of the way, let me talk about here why it's easy. So I've in the next few slides, I'll be presenting to you a recipe, shamelessly adapted and or stolen from a recipe by YouTuber Adam Ragusia. Great food YouTuber, food science, cooking recipes. He's fantastic. I don't have a QR code, but you can look him up. You can find this recipe. Go watch him. He's better at this than me. I do this for free, so there's no like IP use. Don't worry about that. Don't tell him. Basically, this recipe creates 4 11-inch to 12-inch diameter New York style pizzas. 3 main parts. You got yourself the dough, you got yourself the sauce, and of course you have yourself the cheese. We're not doing anything fancy with any toppings. It's not what this presentation is focusing on, but feel free to do your own. This is up to you. This is about your self-fulfillment, your enjoyment, your friends and your family, your pizza. So let me move on to the next slide. So for the dough, a lot of ingredients, kind of a lot of directions. The gist of it, I won't read all of it here for you right now because this is being recorded and the slides will be made available after. But the gist of this is you mix everything into a big bowl and then you mix it more. And then once it's kind of mixed, you knead it for like 10 minutes with like the palm of your hand and just like getting it like smoother after you make it a consistent mix. You divide it into 4 balls, you place them into containers that are sealed and coated in olive oil, and then you put it in the fridge and you forget about it. You hear me? You forget about it. This isn't any high IQ, big brain stuff here. We're not juggling like a turkey. This isn't Thanksgiving dinner. This is just pizza dough. You mix it in a big bowl. You make a bit of mess with the flour. You knead it for 10 minutes. You place it in some smaller bowls. You put it either in room temperature for 2 hours to let it rise, or you put it in the fridge for like up to a week. It's incredible. Like you just forget about it. It's amazing. Like you could do this like not in your right mind, I think. Maybe it'd be interesting pizza, but it would still be doable. And if you think these ingredients are a lot, just wait and see. You're gonna be very surprised. So for the sauce and the cheese. Now this is the more difficult part. Be warned. The sauce, all those ingredients, same thing. You just mix it. Hear me again. You just mix it. A very important step. You just mix it all together. Very difficult. The cheese. Now this one's tricky. I don't have a picture here because it's very, very arcane. You take the cheese, you grate it or you slice it. Big decision. Very complicated. So watch out for that. This is. I hope you guys are still on board here, and I might lose some people here. But okay, so you asked me, okay, I've got the dough, I've got the sauce, I've got the cheese, but like, how do I put it all together? How do I make the pizza? Well, I'll tell you how to make the pizza. It's pizza time now, everybody. You preheat the oven to its max. And I should, damn, that was good momentum. But I should say, pizza time is whenever you want it to be. Well, ideally, after the dough has risen. So either it's been in the fridge for a day or two, or you let it rise at room temperature for like 2 hours or so. So once that's ready, you preheat the oven to your maximum temperature. For most people, for most home ovens like my own, or maybe apartment in Irvine or something, 500 to 550 Fahrenheit. So because you want this to be very hot. This is a pizza. This isn't some like cold soup. You need this to be hot. So. And I'm not going to assume anyone has some fancy like oven trays or like pizza steels and teals and stuff like that. We're going to nice simple oven tray, something that you can place in the oven and cook stuff on. You dust it with some flour, some cornmeal if you have it. You take your cold dough out of the fridge. You dust that in flour as well because you want it to be workable. You want it to be malleable. You want to be able to stretch it out. Now, leaving it in the fridge did most of the work for it, but all you have to do is really just kind of like basically stretch it out evenly. You can use gravity, let gravity do the work. I should have had a GIF in here about that, but don't worry about it. Stretch it as wide as you can or as wide as you want to fit on that tray. After that, you top it with sauce lightly over the surface. You cover it in your cheese, your mozzarella. You throw it in the oven when it's nice and hot and it's done for heating, and you bake it. You watch it. Crust has been until the crust is brown or cheese is brown a bit. This is 10 to 15 minutes, depending on your oven and your pizza. This is easy stuff, or this is straightforward stuff. It's easy. And now you're thinking, like, okay, it might be easy, but these ingredients, like, there's a lot of different stuff going. You got your flour, you got your cheese, you got your sauce. This is a lot of stuff, and like maybe you don't want to use all that stuff, and you don't want stuff to go bad. The college students, we don't like stuff. We like saving money because we're all poor. At least I am. So we buy in bulk, but oftentimes when you buy in bulk, you're forced to eat a bunch of food or let it go to waste because it's perishable. But not for pizza. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, this pizza, this recipe, all the ingredients, almost all of them are non-perishable. They last forever. It's amazing. The dough is quick. The sauce is quick. The oven time is quick. You can make the dough on Sunday, make the pizza on Friday. Surprise your friends. It's amazing. Now, I mentioned it's cheap. How cheap, you say? Here, homemade pizza, 12-inch diameter, $3.29. $3.29. Really? Yes. We'll see proof of that later. But here's just for an example. Ray's Pizza in Irvine, $13 for a 12 diameter pizza. That's not even that's like their stock picture of a pizza on Ray's Pizza like menu online. I don't even think that's a 12-inch pizza. Blaze Pizza, bit better, 11-inch diameter for $7. You're still looking at like $3.29, everybody. $3.29. You can't beat that. And you're gonna ask me, how is that true? Are you lying to me, Ian? No, I don't think I am. Here we go. Cheese. $4.49 at Safeway. This isn't even the cheapest cheese. This is specific cheese. You need 2 of these for 4 pizzas. Safeway, Albertsons, Trader Joe's if you want. Crushed tomatoes, $2 at Safeway. Get a can of that lasts you for 4 pizzas and then some. Like you can put that in chili, you could put that in whatever else crushed tomatoes go. I just researched pizza. Flour, $3 for like one bag. That's an average cost. You can get it cheaper, you get more expensive. $3 for one bag. That's like 4 or 5 pounds. This will last you several pizzas, more than just the 4. This is we're talking 8 or 12 pizzas. And if you bake, or your roommate who bakes, or a family member who bakes, you might already have this. So you could even write this off. Yeast, $1.50 for 3 packets. You could spend a little bit more money for a lot more yeast, but I'm going for something more convenient. We're talking 3 packets. 1 packet is 2 tablespoons. If you looked in the recipe earlier, you'll see that the one recipe for 4 pizzas only gives you you only need like a tablespoon. So a packet will last you like 8 pizzas. This is incredible, folks. Olive oil, $4 for 1 bottle. When selecting this, I wanted to you gotta spend a bit more money for the fancy stuff. Trader Joe's organic extra virgin olive oil. This will still last you a lot. You should have olive oil in general. It'll just improve your life, and it'll improve your pizza. So you should get it. You can save money on this too if you want, and you could probably get better value. So this is all just to say, and here's some data. You can believe me because I have presented to you some Excel sheet and a graph. Basically, I've calculated the typical from the costs earlier. I presented the cost per container, or like 2 pounds of cheese is like $9 if you pay for $4.49 each. I've divided that to the cost of the pizza, and there you have it, $3.29 for a pizza. And you'll also note that the cost of it, in terms of the total cost of the pizza, the cheese is most of it. Like everything else is, pretty cheap. So if you wanted to like have a pizza without cheese or cheaper cheese, like don't eat toast anymore, everybody. Eat pizza dough. Like if you make pizza dough and you decide, I don't want to eat pizza, just throw the dough in the oven and congratulations, you have bread. Like, and it tastes, and even better, it tastes like pizza dough at least. Like I can't make a case any clearer to you all, but I'll leave it at that. And I will say, ordering pizza, it's nice to get toppings, but finances, the self-fulfillment, everything I think just points in the direction of pizza. But thank you for your time. I rest my case. Enjoy FUSIONCon.
Woo! Thank you for that, Ian. That was great. Hopefully that have inspired you to make a pizza. Mary Kate and Ashley would be proud. And with that, up next, we have Mondo and Santos. I hope I pronounced your last name right. If you can see my screen, hopefully. Talking about nuclear reactors. So take it away after I stop sharing my screen.
Yes, sir. So I'm actually going to talk about something called a diamond nuclear battery. I will talk a little bit about nuclear reactors, and I kind of want to make a disclaimer. I wanted to talk about nuclear science in general because it's kind of like a big black box that a lot of people don't really get to learn about. But if I try to tell you about everything that I love about nuclear science and like all of the cool things that you don't really get to learn about in school, this presentation will probably be 10 hours instead of 10 minutes. So I'm going to stick to this one really cool thing that I learned about when I was doing research in New York at the Brookhaven Nuclear Energy Lab. And that is the diamond nuclear battery. And if this is something that's interesting to you, I highly encourage you to read more on it, read more about nuclear reactors. There's so much to learn about nuclear energy, and like it has so many possibilities for the future, and like it can honestly change the way that we even, like the way that society works today, if just people get on board with nuclear energy. It's really cool. Okay, but so hopefully this one little piece of cool evidence will show you exactly how amazing nuclear science is. So I'm going to tell you about the diamond nuclear battery. So here's a quick overview. Fun fact, I actually made this presentation like back in 2018 when I lived in New York. So I'm excited to present it again. So I'm going to tell you about nuclear waste and give you a little bit more context of nuclear energy, nuclear power plants and such. And I'll go into the specific waste product of carbon-14, which is a radioactive isotope of carbon. I'll talk about Magnox reactors, which is a specific type of power plant reactor that makes carbon-14 as a waste product. Then I'll talk about graphite storage, which is kind of currently how carbon-14 is being stored as waste. And then we'll talk about how the battery came to be, how it works, and what we can use it for, which is pretty incredible. Okay, so first thing, nuclear waste comes from nuclear power plants. A lot of thing is, especially with like policies and our safety concerns around nuclear energy, a lot of nuclear waste piles up after use in the facilities. You guys may know about Yucca Mountain in Nevada, which is like the US's famous nuclear waste dump. And the problem is we can't really just forget about it and leave it there because it's still radioactive and it's still dangerous. And the lifespan of the dangerous isotopes at Yucca Mountain will actually outlive humanity and the existence of humanity. And so we've actually, this is a fun problem that we have. It's like, how will we, when our language dies and disappears and like the next society takes over, how will we tell them that this mountain is dangerous and will give you cancer? And so there's actually, you can look this up on Google, but I'm not gonna go too much into this, but there's like questions to design the facility around Yucca Mountain to just look scary to anybody that may come across it. So like whoever is discovering our civilization, the way we discovered the ancient Egyptians or the Mesopotamians, will come across this facility and think, wow, this is really dangerous. We shouldn't just go in here. So, and things like that is like, a couple of things that go into that was like putting like really pointy buildings around it, or like actually putting images of dead cats, which is really funny because cats have always been like an important like part of human society. So maybe they'll see the dead cats and they'll be like, oh gosh, that's not good. So yeah, what to do with our nuclear waste is like a huge problem that we have to face. It's bigger than our society, it's bigger than humanity. It's so long-lived that it's crazy. So what do we want to do with this waste? This is one of my friends from New York, he specializes in nuclear waste reprocessing. So if you look up nuclear science in the future, you might see his name on things. He's very cool. And he actually made a complimentary presentation to this one, but unfortunately, because he doesn't go to UCI, we can't look at it, but he's a cool guy, and I hope you guys will hear his name in the future. Anyway, I'm going to talk more specifically about the waste product carbon-14, which is one of those things that goes into the dangerous Yucca Mountain. In the reactor core, gets irradiated by the uranium that's in our reactors. Oh no, my connection is unstable. If you guys can hear me, let me know. But yeah, so that's what exists in our reactor core. And then as these things get hit by neutrons, they become radioactive and they end up becoming carbon-14. Okay, oh, I didn't talk about this. Carbon-14 has a very long half-life. It's almost 6,000 years. So that's why having a lot of carbon-14 will take a long time to get rid of. This here is a Magnox reactor. I know there's a lot going on here, but just remember, I'm going to lean on your engineering backgrounds in fusion. And if you're not an engineer, I understand. I too am not an engineer, so a lot of this goes over my head. But basically what nuclear reactors do in terms of energy facilities is that they do the basic thing, they turn water into steam, and that steam goes on to power a turbine or turn a turbine, and that turbine goes on to, let's say, power about 25% of the energy of the entire New York City. So that's how nuclear reactors are useful to us. So in this Magnox reactor, we have carbon gas as the main heat conductor. So this carbon gas will flow through the radioactive fuel rods, collect heat, and it'll flow into this heat exchanger where the water is flowing. The water will convert into steam. The steam will leave the chamber, turn a turbine, and then power the entire New York City, pretty much. It's pretty cool. So, and then because this is a carbon gas in here, the heat exchanger, that's where we get a bunch of carbon-14, which I just said was very reactive, a bit dangerous. We don't really want to play with that. And so I'm going to talk about graphite in storage. So a lot of this carbon-14 gets scraped off the reactor as graphite. And so graphite is the way that we store carbon-14, radioactive carbon-14 as waste. And this study was actually started in the United Kingdom because they have a lot of Magnox reactors. United States tends to use a different kind of reactor, but not very important for right now. So we have in the UK like 95,000 tons of radioactive graphite waste. I don't know exactly what the number is in Yucca Mountain, which is US storage, but it's also pretty high. So this is a problem because we have so much graphite and it's radioactive and it's going to outlive humanity. But fortunately, someone came up with the idea of turning this waste back into energy that we can use. And so this idea came from something that already exists called a diamond radiation detector. So diamond is very useful as a radiation detector because it has semiconductor properties. If you guys don't know what semiconductors do, basically you'll hit like some kind of energy burst goes through the depletion region, completes the circuit, and then you get pulse, essentially. Diamond also is very hard, as you guys know, so it's difficult to break. And that's why it's used as a radiation detector because it's sturdy and it's consistent with detecting radiation. So basically the radiation will go through the depletion region, complete the circuit and register a pulse. And it's used in high radiation areas. I'm gonna move my Zoom thing because I can't see all my points. There we go. So it's used in high radiation areas. And I'm talking like Chernobyl areas, like we don't want people in there kind of radiation areas. So we send in drones with these diamond detectors and they can give us a reading of how bad the radioactivity is. And in those areas, the radiation is actually so high and so constant that this is not just a pulse anymore, it's continuous, it becomes like a current. And that's where people got the idea of, hey, this diamond can hold a current from the radioactivity. So what if we just put the radioactivity inside the diamond and make it a battery? So this is a process of how they're going to do that, how they have been doing that. You can use chemical vapor deposition, or CVD, to convert graphite into diamond. Basically, without going into any details, it's like a huge kind of pressurizer to reconstruct the atomic bonds between the carbon and graphite and make them more condensed, and then you end up with diamond. So that's what they do with the graphite waste. They convert the graphite waste, the radioactive carbon-14 graphite, into carbon-14 diamond. And then they take this little shell of diamond, radioactive diamond, and then they will case it with a regular non-radioactive diamond so that the radiation diamond is in the middle. And then there's like a shell, a protective shell of carbon-12, which kind of shields the dangerous part from anyone holding the diamond. Fun fact, once they shielded it with the regular diamond, the exposure to anybody holding it was less than a banana. Now this is another tangent I'm gonna go off on. Bananas are like the most radioactive fruit in existence. Fun fact, they have a lot of potassium. A lot of potassium is radioactive. So just so you know, you're getting a little bit of radiation from your bananas every time. But there's another theory that radiation is actually in low doses good for you. So again, there's this big black box I'm gonna not get into, or we're gonna be here for 10 hours. But yeah, if you're curious about radioactive bananas, I highly recommend Googling it. It's very fun, very interesting knowledge. Anyway, you get this radioactive diamond completely covered and safe to hold because of the shell. And when you run it through a current, the radiation finishes the depletion reading, and then you get a battery out of it. So now we have this diamond nuclear battery, which not only sounds like amazing, just the name of it, like holy cow, it's actually very, very useful. Carbon-14, as I said, has a half-life of about 6,000 years, or 5,730 years, meaning in 5,730 years, so like what, year 7,700-ish, the battery that we made today will be at half-life, be at half charge. So that's crazy. Its life is immensely long. Imagine if you had this battery in your phone today and it started today, your phone probably will die in the hands of your like great grandkids. It's crazy. Anyway, so what we can use this battery for is like satellites and space exploration. We can go so far with our ships and our satellites if we don't have to worry about charging the battery in like 5,000 years. We could use it for pacemakers or other like medical equipment. Imagine like never having to change like the battery on your pacemaker, never worrying if it's gonna die. We can use it for drone transportation. Imagine not using gas when we're transporting things around the world. Imagine being able to transport like long-lasting environmental help and like tools to third world countries that won't die within any foreseeable amount of time to the human race. So these are the things that we could do with nuclear batteries. And it solves two problems. It solves our waste problem from consumable energy, and it solves our waste problem from nuclear energy. And overall just makes nuclear energy a very clean and exciting and long-lasting way for us to continue our society and to continue to help our planet. That's what I just went over is like consumable battery waste. We can produce more clean energy than carbon emission energy. This is one of my research sources, and I don't think we have time for questions. So I just want to say thank you for listening, and I hope you guys get excited about nuclear energy and nuclear batteries. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mondo. Up next, we have, I'm trying to introduce him, JD. You know him, he's an intern. Okay. JD, you can share your screen now. Wait, give me a sec though, JD. I'm trying to spotlight. All right, you are good to go.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is JD. I'm a first-year mechanical engineering major, pronouns he, him, his, and today I will be talking about music theory. So just a quick disclaimer, in this presentation, I'll be using a keyboard. All the theory is applicable to other instruments, but it's easier just to see it visually on a keyboard since we have white and black keys to distinguish each other. All right, so what is music? Music is vocal or instrumental sounds combined in such a way as to produce beauty of form, harmony, and expression of emotion. Quick, we have an overview. So what are the notes of the keyboard? What's a major scale? What is chord? And music has numbers. It's crazy. Yeah. What are the names of the notes on a keyboard? So first up, we have the white keys. And as you can see on my camera, this is called a C. And you can tell that it's a C because we have these black keys that are in a pattern. So a C is right before the two black keys. So right here we have C, D, and then there's an E right here. Then we go F, and then G, and A, B, and oh no, wait, that one looks like the same as this. Oh, right, so it's a C, right? But JD, there's black keys too. I know, don't fret, don't worry. Those are called sharps or flats. So a sharp is any note placed after a certain note. What this means is, take for example this. This is a C sharp because it is the note right after a C, right? So if you have this one is an F sharp because it's right after the F, correct? And this works for even white keys. So take this, for example, you can call it a B sharp because it is right after the B. So same thing for flats, but this time it's backwards. It's before a certain note. So right here, this would be called a D flat because it's right before D. And this one would be a G flat because it's right before G, right? And even this one, you can call it a C flat. This is universal for any instrument. I'm just showing it on a keyboard because it's easy to see visually. So on a guitar, you would use the frets. Yes. So what is a major scale? A major scale is one of the most famous music scales, especially in Western or pop music. It is a diatonic scale, and a diatonic scale means that it consists of 5 whole steps and 2 half steps. Okay, but how? So the sequence of intervals between the notes of a major scale is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So what this means is to go up a whole step, you move up 2 notes, and to go up a half step, can you guess? Yes, correct. It's only 1 note. So I'll give you an example right now. So take, for example, the key of C. So if we were going to do a C major scale, you would go, the first interval to go to the next note, right, would be a whole. So, excuse me. So move up 2 notes. This would be the next key. So again, move up a whole. Then, so whole, whole, whole. Then half means you just move up 1 note. Then go up whole again, whole again, whole, and then half. Okay. So what is a chord? A chord in music is any harmonic set of pitches or frequencies consisting of multiple notes played simultaneously. There are mainly 2 basic different chords, a major and a minor. But how do you make these 2 types of chords? So for a major scale, we are going to use intervals again. So let's go with our infamous C again. To go to our next, to find our next note in that chord, we would go up 4 half steps. So, and for a half step, you move up 1 note, right? So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Then after that, it would be 3 half steps. So it would be 1, 2, 3. So right here, we have made a C major chord. And for a minor chord, it's the same thing, but flipped, right? So it would be 3 half steps in between the first and the second note of this triad. It's called a triad because it's 3. So it'll be 1, 2, 3. And then after that, it would be 4 half steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So see how it sounds like ominous, sort of sad? Well, this one is like, hello, you know? So what can we apply these chords to? Oh yes, this could be you if you know how to play guitar. Moving on. Music and numbers. So we can number the notes of a major scale 1 through 7. But in music, we dictate them using Roman numerals. So in music, the number system is used for chords. Capitalized and uncapitalized Roman numerals are used to signify a certain chord. So take, for example, the key of C again. So we would number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we would go back to 1, right? So if it's capitalized, as you can see here, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but this 1 is capitalized, right? So it'll be a C major. And then this 5 is also capitalized. So you go to the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it would be a major, right? So if it's no cap, it is a minor chord. So right here we have a 2 and it's lowercase. So right here, D minor, and then if we go to the 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A minor. Warning, not everyone uses the system, but I like it, so I'm talking about it. Yes, so I just explained how. So for every note in a scale, there is a chord that relates to it. So for this C major scale, this would be C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B. So this one is weird. It's called a B diminished chord, but we don't have to go into that. It's not very common in music that we listen to today. And back to C, right? Oh, yeah. So we can use the numbers to create a chord progression. The most common chord progression in pop music is the 1, 5, 6, and 4. So in the key of C, these chords will be C, G, A minor, F. Right? So what to do with this? With a chord progression, you're able to play notes from the scale. So we would be playing notes from the C major scale on top of it to create a song. So let's take, for example, key of E for our first song. So if we go from E and number each note, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So it would be 1, E major. Then the 5 would be B major, and the 6 would be C minor, and then the 4 would be A. So here, I'll play a little sample. So that would be the key of E. And up next, we have Take Me Home Country Roads. So it would be C, G, A minor, F, right? have Take On Me, so it goes. And we have and then we have No One, so it goes. And lastly, we have Party in the USA. And so what's next? If you practice your scales and know how to find chords, I dare might say you would be able to play any song with practice, of course. So yes, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy.
Yes, sir. Thank you for serenading us, JD. That was a good serenade. I'm removing spotlights. All right. So up next is Austin Alba, also known as Austin Alpha, on Bobo Propaganda. Austin.
Hello. Let me share my screen.
Oh, you got your camera to work. That's what's up.
I stole my sister's. Yes.
Hey.
Hello, friends. So this is Boba Propaganda, shortened to Bobaganda by our president, or as some might say when they see Boba, Bobaganda. And this is why I worship Boba and why you should drink it. So I'm Austin. I'm a fourth year biosci major. My pronouns are he, him, and welcome to Bobaganda. Oh wait. Can y'all hear me well? Okay, good shit. Good stuff. What is boba? So boba refers to the tapioca pearls and drinks, but is also used to refer to the drink as a whole. And for this presentation, I'll be using boba to refer to the whole drink. But in reality, the whole drink is actually called bubble tea and was created when an employee added her tapioca dessert into ice cream, which shows that mistakes can lead to amazing things, you know? Anyways, oh yes. 5 stars by celebrities. As my favorite artist would say, ask Lil Wayne who the 5-star drink is. Ask Birdman who the 5-star drink is. And it's boba. And I could go on about the history, but the past is the past. So let's focus on why boba is superior. Uncle Iroh. It's not propaganda if it's true. So for this presentation, I'll be covering 3 main concepts that I want to talk about regarding boba. So first off, the concept of boba is limited when the drinks themselves actually vary greatly. There's lots of choices you can make with boba and it's highly customizable. So it's hard to limit it to one concept. For the second part, I'll be talking about how different places specialize in different types of boba. You know, you can go to different places and some drinks may not be good as others. One drink may have amazing Thai tea, others with amazing milk tea. You know, it's all preference. And then thirdly, I'll be talking about how boba has a very promising future as a constantly evolving drink and how I myself plan to improve on the concept of boba. So first off, boba is highly variable. It's highly customizable. Boba encompasses various teas, milks, toppings, and fruits. You can choose anything to make it how you want it to taste. Caffeine, no coffee. Drinks can be caffeinated, but don't have to be, you know. I actually have my own boba. My heart's racing because this is a lot of coffee and I did not expect it to, but you know what? Vibes all around. Can't tolerate the lactose in drinks. Get over. You don't have to get lactose in the drinks. You can get dairy-free alternatives. You know, that's what I do because I cannot tolerate lactose, but I do anyways. And if you don't like toppings, you don't like chewing your drink, save money. Don't get the toppings. The tea itself is amazing. Trust me. Trust me. and different places offer different selections. You know, it's just like, where do I want to study today? If you think about it, you can go to the School of Engineering, you know, great vibes all around. You got Nikki, you got Lil Wayne, you have a great friend group versus if you choose to study at MSTB, you know, different places for different people, you know, everyone has their own preferences. Stores and selections. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this part, but trust me, it's worth it. So over here, you can see 5 great boba places. I know there's 6. I'll get to the last one, but let's start off with T-Sane. Its specialty is club theme. It's actually a very general store. All of its drinks are amazing. It's located in Westminster. If you're around the Irvine area, it's about a 20-30 minute drive, but it's really worth it. Their drinks are all amazing. They have different types, banana, milk tea, graham crackers. And their toppings are also specialized. You can pick and choose, but they're usually attuned to the drink, so you don't need to choose out your toppings. I put it on S tier because it's truly one of the best boba places I've been to. In my opinion, it's very close to the top. And in terms of price, it's actually rated 3, but it's affordable, and I'll get to why it's ranked 3. The next place, my personal favorite, is Tea Pumps. There's about 3 locations I know in California. One's in Ontario. There's another one in Pasadena, I think, and then there's one in NorCal. So not very common, but if it's close by, you're truly blessed. I personally used to drive 40 minutes every day in high school just to get tea pumps. Its specialty is being highly customizable because you can pick up to 3 different flavors, which include desserts and fruits. And you can customize the milk tea, the toppings. The whole drink itself is made by you. And I rate it as A plus tier because while it might be my personal favorite, it's not very popular because it's only has a few stores. But trust me, if you ever go to a Tea Pumps, it will not disappoint. It might take some time, but once you find your drink, that'll definitely become your favorite place. And in terms of price, I actually rank it number 1 because you can get 32 or very large drinks for very cheap, especially on Tea Pumps Tuesdays, where they sell their upsized drinks for base price. So trust me, Tea Pumps is super affordable, amazing, my favorite place, but you know, that's just propaganda. Anyways, Tasty is a very popular place. I'm sure most people know about this place. It's another generalized store, similar to T-Sane, more popular because it's more common, but I personally don't think it's as great as T-Sane, but it's definitely amazing. It has a special menu. If you want to try out something from the special menu, I recommend strawberry milk. Very simple. If you like to drink, what was that one chocolate milk? I forgot it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. That one Filipino chocolate drink. It has a bunch of different toppings, and it's ranked A plus tier or A tier, and I say it's a second in terms of price because it has very large drinks similar to tea pumps, but they don't really have any special sales or any. And I think it's a bit pricier. So, 4th on the list, we have Ding Tea. What I have right now. Ding Tea is another personal favorite of mine. They specialize in Yakult drinks. I don't think very many other boba places, if any, have Yakult drinks. And although they have a few toppings, the main sell here is the drinks. I rank it as A minus tier because while it's not as popular, it's still very great, very amazing. And that's mostly from personal preference because I went all the time since they built a new one next to UCI. So next year, if you're going in person, go to Ding Tea. It's about a 5-10 minute drive. And it's about 4th on terms of price. A little pricier, not that pricey, but it's about average for a drink. And then there's Class 302, another highly customizable place. If you guys have been to Yogurt Land, stuff like that, where you build your own ice cream, Class 302 is the same, where you can make your own. They give you your own cup, and then you pour out the drink and add the toppings yourself. So if you want water with a bunch of boba, like who's stopping you? You don't have to shame yourself in front of the worker who's gonna make your drink. You can make it yourself, and I think that means a lot. So yeah, the toppings include a lot because the drink is highly customizable. I'll put it at B plus tier because the drinks are amazing, but It's not great, and you do have to make it yourself, which isn't a bad thing, but if you don't know what you like, it'll take some time to get adjusted to it. And it is on the pricier side, so that's why I rank it as like the last on this list. And then just as an example, I included Nestle Toll House. It's a dessert place, so I don't want to shame their boba, but I do shame their boba. I don't even know if they have toppings other than boba for the drinks, but you know what? I don't. It's okay. If you go to Nestle Toll House, I highly recommend the desserts. F tier on boba though. I'm sorry. F tier on price too because it's not really worth it. But yes, if you had to pick a place from here, I choose Tea Pumps because their drinks are bigger than the tower, and I'm not talking about Eiffel. You know, it's amazing. Trust me. The future of boba. So, as an Asian drink, boba is very popular amongst Asian demographics, but it still fails to be relevant elsewhere. Like, you can go around California, it'll pop in and out. It seems very common, but outside of California, outside of Asian countries, it's not very popular. Other places can adopt the concept but fail to replicate it as well. It takes some time to understand it, how to make it, I guess. Uh, like as you can see with Nestle Toll House, sadly, and boba water, but it's still a constantly evolving concept. There's so many different things you can do with boba. And as an example, Arena NorCal has begun implementing adult ethanol-based boba drinks. But I think we can improve on that, you know. That's just the starting point for breaking the ceiling. And here is just a little pie chart displaying the composition of boba. There's drink, there's balls, there's icy, which is, you know, understandably a mainstay of the drink. I know you all know that feeling of drinking about half of your boba and then going all the way down because of how much ice is in it. But boba is generally comprised of a pink wig and a thick mass that'll give you a whiplash whenever you drink from it, with acceptable p-values listed underneath. So you can see that this pie chart is very, very valid whenever you drink boba. And here's my concept for the future of boba. This is just like what I want to do. This is my past, present, and history accumulating towards my future. So for starters, prepare for trouble by using Arena's ethanol-based boba concept for the tea and improving on it by making it double. We infuse the pearls of the plant-based honey to improve the flavor, improve the aftertaste, and improve your own emotions as you drink it. The result is a one-stop shop for all of your pre-play needs. You know, you just get that one double trouble boba and it's amazing. You're set for the rest of the day. You know, your mood is insanely boosted. Your whole day is made. I don't know what could ruin you from that. Besides a few risks, you know, death, not making it to the event, all of that, you know, that's just, you know, if you drink lactose and you're lactose intolerant, you already know the risks with drinking boba. So I'm sure you understand. But yes, this is my goal for the future of boba. And that's it. Thank you so much. I will not be accepting any questions.
Blah 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 blah. I'm gonna share my screen. It's not Austin next. It's Kelby. Woo. Yeah, okay. You can share your screen now and start presenting, I guess.
Right. Let me know if there's a echo, by the way, because I'm joined on another device.
For sure.
Okay, testing. Everything good? Everything good? Okay. So, my name is Kelby Custodio, and I will be presenting on emojis. So here's a little overview of my presentation. First, I'll be going over the origin and history of emojis, then the modern significance of it, how they reflect culture, how they are going to evolve, and finally, I will be concluding the presentation. Okay, so emojis originated from emoticons, so like the colon, close parentheses, XD8D. The first set of emojis were actually created by a Japanese artist named Shigetaka Kurita in 1999, and that's it here. Emojis were not only informational, although Kurita created practical emojis like weather, traffic signs, and technology, people were drawn to the emotional subtext emojis added. So like I understand versus I understand. So As mobile messaging grew in popularity, engineers from both Google and Apple led the charge for emojis to be officially adopted by the Unicode Consortium, which is basically like an international organization that standardizes digital text and language. And in 2010, they actually officially recognized emojis. Okay, so the modern significance of emojis. Why use them and why are they important? So for this, I actually need some audience participation. Not much, but basically in the next few slides, ask yourself the questions. What is this person trying to convey? How would receiving this message make you feel? And what can you infer about the person sending these? And you can go ahead and like react in the chat and I'll try to address them. Okay, so in the first one, I can't make it tonight, sorry. And then the person saying, okay, that's fine. You would probably feel a little weird about this conversation, like, okay, telling someone you can't make it, but then the okay, that's fine. Maybe you'd be a little sad about that, or you'd be a little concerned that they're upset. But if you add the emoji, wow, you're feeling so sorry, but the other person is like, okay, that's fine. I'm just worried about you, dog. Don't worry about it, you know? Yeah, first one, definitely anxiety. Okay, so the next one, 4 of the same messages, but different vibes. The first one, straightforward, bad cake. Second one, maybe you were really upset about the cake. It was a really bad cake. Third one, smiley face, a little more confusing. Like maybe you're upset, but you don't want to show that you're upset. And then the last one, the winky face, is probably the most confusing. What kind of cake are we talking about? Why are you winking at me? Here's another set. I think I just failed my midterm. Pretty relatable for most of us here. Straightforward, I think I just failed my midterm. Second one, maybe it's a little fun. You're a little fun and flirty about it. You know, you're not that upset about failing your midterm. Third one, you probably are a little bit upset about it. But yeah, I would say it's the go-to. You're a little upset about it, but you're not like super bummed. Last one, I don't know about you, but I would be kind of scared of this person. I don't think I've ever used this emoji in my life, but they seem to be pretty upset about failing their midterm. Okay, last one. So you get a message that says you're fired, we're kicking you out of the group, something like that. And of course you'd want to like talk it through. But this is actually an example of an inappropriate use of emojis. So this is too much. You're doing too much. What are these? Why do you need this? What is the 100 emoji for? You would be very confused if you got this message, and I don't think it would soften the blow. But okay, yes. Thank you for your guys' reactions, by the way. I'm trying to read them at the same time. But the point of that activity was basically to show that emojis convey emotion. Although written communication allows us to be more mindful with word choice and sentence structure, it can warp tone, cadence, etc. So you don't get those nonverbal cues like body language or facial expressions, and emojis help with that. Okay, so another quick activity. This one is actually kind of like an experiment. On the next slide, there's going to be 2 short stories. You'll have 30 seconds to read both of them, and you don't have to read them in a specific order. Like you can read them in any order you want. I'm going to go ahead and start a timer. Let's go. Okay, so 30 seconds. I'm going to try not to speak so you guys aren't distracted. Yes, I want some class participation. Yes, you will be graded. This is the midterm. Got 15 seconds left. Keep reading. Keep reading. 10 seconds. Uncomfortable? Okay, good. Stop listening to me. Just read. And that's enough time. So if you didn't remember either of the stories that much or didn't get to read through both of them, that's okay. That's not exactly the point, but maybe ask yourself, what did you remember? Which story did you remember more of? What were the lessons of each story? And which story seemed more interesting? So just as like a little not reminder, but note, both stories had 96 words, so it's they were supposed to be equal. So I'm reading through your guys' things right now. The one with the emojis, okay. Alfredo said, wait, so did it rain? Yes, but so I'm gonna go back just so you guys can see. The whole point of this was actually to just show that hopefully you guys remembered more of this, or this one, you were drawn to it more, because emojis can serve as a visual aid. Emojis offer seamless integration to written speech and can be used as a visual aid to increase comprehension and nuances of speech. So I'm sure you guys have heard of the term like visual learner, and this is basically just an activity to kind of represent that. You probably saw all these pretty pictures and were like, okay, kind of understood it more and more drawn to it than the pop story. Okay, so cultural reflection, representation in emojis. On the left, there's a quote that I'm not going to read through, but you guys can read through on your own. And on the right is just a little timeline of certain emojis that were added over the years. Basically, the point of this slide is just to say that emojis actually do reflect culture in a way. Like, it seems kind of dumb, but you know, like before, we didn't have same-sex couple emojis. We didn't have diverse family emojis. We didn't have different skin tone emojis. We didn't have women in certain jobs, people in certain religions, things like that. So like on the bottom, you can even see here, there's a boba emoji, shout out Austin. There's like people who have certain disabilities, or like women in different jobs, things like that. So there's actually a lot more significance here than you guys think. I know like emojis seem silly, but it's actually pretty interesting to read up on this. Okay, so evolution, where do we go from here? So for my Apple users, you guys have heard of Animoji, which uses face tracking to kind of overlay your face onto different kinds of emojis here. There's also something called hybrid emojis, which are basically like memes. So people use different emojis and kind of create new ones to kind of like make different emotions. So like an angry kissy face, I don't know what this is, a happy cowboy, things like that. There's interpreted meanings to emojis. So there's a subtext to subtext. So like all of these things can mean the same thing to a certain person, but to a different person, this is a hug, this is a peck, whatever. And those could be very different. And so you got to be careful when you send stuff to people. And lastly, different companies have different emojis, probably capitalism or something, or like copyright. And often people rate them. So like the thinking face, Discord, LG. I almost did this presentation as 10 minutes of me just rating emojis, but I thought that didn't have a lot of like educational merit. So I just decided not to. But we are actually already at our conclusion. Basically, the point is that emojis have more history and significance than you think, and they serve as an aid to written communication, but are just as significant on their own as a visual language. Thank you. If you want to talk about emojis, everybody, or you want to hear about my opinions on emojis, feel free to contact me or just message me in the chat. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kelby, for that. Next time you drop an emoji, think about that. Let me share my screen again. Up next is our very own singer, Aldron.
Yeah. Okay. Share this. Okay. So just like emojis, memes are also more interesting than you might think. So this is why everything we know is made of memes. Well, almost. So what is a meme? The meme is an idea that spreads by means of imitation from person to person. They can be representative of many things, including human emotions, how we perceive the world, skills and behaviors, or just passing thoughts. So for example, in the bottom left, the meme, the picture itself is a meme, but it's also showing how creating fire is something that can be shared by imitation. So that could be a meme. Additionally, Kilroy, you might know this guy. You might have seen him, but no one really is sure where he came from or what its real meaning was. But somehow it carried itself into World War II, as it was popular among soldiers, as maybe it's some kind of spy, you know. So memes itself, the word meme, was created by Richard Dawkins originating from his 1976 book, The Selfish Gene. The term meme was based on the ancient Greek word mimema, meaning imitated thing. And it was also shortened this way to sound like the word gene. And that's how it's used in this field. So the field of study is called memetics, and explores the concepts and the transmission of memes in terms of an evolutionary model. So just like genes, successful memes remain and proliferate, whereas unfit ones are forgotten. You could call this natural selection through the meme pool. Language could be attributed as one of the most culturally cultivated kinds of memes. So it started out just simple sounds, simple grunts, and then over time grew into more complex things and new languages altogether. English is known to imitate words from other languages. So for example, guru, safari, cigar, they're imitated from a different language. However, it is argued that not everything humans do comes from imitation. So unfortunately, not everything is a meme. So certain instincts, such as a newborn baby crying, right? They don't know anything. They couldn't have imitated anything. So unfortunately, those are not memes. Sociologists may disagree on the usage of memes as well, since they boil down, simplify sociology too much. So imitation from person to person. So the internet has changed memes a lot. So imitation from person to person was slow compared to the sheer transmission of memes nowadays, right? Memes on the internet are generally created for the sake of humor, but as opposed to memes before the internet, which were probably more useful. They're constantly being changed from each person's unique take on it. So I could call this meme mutation. And also irony, lack of context and meaning, and general absurdism has become much more popular in current years compared to before. Videos, as opposed to formatted images, are another way to express more complex memes. They spread more easily as short form videos, suggesting that memes have difficulty spreading as large entities, but as if they're separated into pieces, they can reform within your own mind as a larger idea. The underlying meaning of the memes can remain, or the underlying meaning can change despite the original meme, the template being intact and recognizable. So for example, in the bottom right here from the show Invincible, there are many ways to represent this situation. Additionally, memes can be used to spread secondary ideas. So as you might know, they can show opinions, marketing, like commercial marketing, cultural movements, and politics. So here are some examples. So on the left here, we have some classic 2000 era memes like Me Gusta, Trollface, etc. But at some point from that time to now, there was a mass extinction where there are only a few remaining that people used. And then people recreated them to represent things that are human emotions that would fill in the gaps of what was needed, quote unquote. And then in the top here, we have repurposed media, right? So a movie scene, a movie quote is used to show a reaction to a related thing. So the smoke alarm is on fire. On the right, we just have an absurdist meme that doesn't really have a meaning. It's just there, just exists. And then there's Loss, which is known to be a 4-panel comic in its original form, but over time, people have just simplified them into lines. So you can recognize the meme in other cases. So right, the 5 things everyone hates, that's Loss, really. So that's the end of my presentation, but I want to say a favorite quote of mine from a favorite video game of mine before we finish. We're all pawns controlled by something greater. Memes, the DNA of the soul. They shape our will. They are the culture. They're everything we pass on. Thank you.
Thank you, Aljan. I hope you guys learned more about memes, I guess. And with that, we have our final presenter, which is Will, and he will carry us on with more memes. Thank you, Will. Round of
Alright.
applause. Like, I don't know if you want one.
No, thank you.
Okay, for sure.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is William. I am a fifth-year CSC major, pronouns he, him. And today I'll be talking to you guys about meme stocks. So what is a meme stock? Well, a meme stock is basically any stock or any businesses really that go in value due to a social collective rather than a business practice. So these stocks usually come from somewhere. A collective of people who are like, hey, just for the memes, let's bump up the price of this stock. These usually stem from a subreddit called Wall Street Bets, which is a subreddit filled with people who like to degrade themselves just for memes, basically. Now, the most notable meme stocks that are around are GameStop, AMC Theaters, BlackBerry, Nokia, and although it's a cryptocurrency, Dogecoin can be considered a meme stock. So let's go a little bit into Wall Street Bets. The Wall Street Bets, like I said, is a subreddit that strives on degrading yourself for the memes while basically gambling on stocks. So here's some terminologies that you would see in Wall Street Bets. The first one are apes. That's basically anyone who's an investor. So they consider themselves apes because apes like to travel in groups. Together, apes are strong. And if you hold together with everyone, you're going to strengthen the stock, basically. The second terminology we have is my wife's boyfriend. This kind of sounds weird, but the reason they use this is because if you are trying to give financial advice about stocks, you and basically are manipulating the stock market, you can get into legal trouble. So they usually say, oh, my wife's boyfriend is the one who said to do this because he's rich. He knows what to do. Now, another terminology we use is diamond hands and paper hands. Those are how we distinguish the investors. Diamond hands are people who usually buy a stock and hold on to it in hopes that it will rise up. Paper hands are short-term investors who believe that, hey, I'm just going to make a quick buck, but it ruins the whole collective. Now, the end goal for Wall Street Bets is to get attendees, chicken tenders. We're not too rich to get like steak and lobster, so we want chicken tenders. The other terminology you've probably seen a lot is to the moon. That's basically the goal we're reaching, the heights. The moon is our end goal. And the main reason why we buy stocks, why we do this, is because we like the stock. Okay. Now, here are some rules that come with Wall Street Bets. So you would always want to buy your stocks low and hodl, basically hold on for dear life. Whenever you see a dip, don't worry, it will always come back up. And remember, apes together are stronger. Now, like I said, the end goal is to shoot for the moon. And the last point I would like to make is I do not provide financial advice. I just like the stock, so I don't get into any legal trouble. Now, let's go into some key events in meme stock history. The most notable one that everyone probably knows is the GameStop short squeeze when GameStop shot up. So let's go into details about what a short squeeze is. To know what a short squeeze is, we need to know what a short is. Sorry, this is actual economics and financial lectures, so hopefully you guys learn from this. So a short basically is not holding onto a stock for a short amount of time. What a short is buying a stock or borrowing a stock from someone else. So say I want to borrow a stock from Ian and I sell his stock for $10. Now I have to pay back Ian's stock. So what shorting does is I hope that the stock goes down in price so I can buy that stock for say $7 and give it back to Ian. So I make $3. Now what a squeeze is when the opposite happens. So I sell the stock for $3 or $10, but the stock goes up in price. So it's basically squeezing out money for me because say I have to pay $15 to buy that stock back and give it to Ian, I lose $5. What happened with GameStop was Wall Street Bets saw that brokers were trying to do this. And as a collective, they were squeezing these shorters or these hedge funds out of billions of dollars. Now, another notable event that happened was the trade restriction of January 28th. So basically what happened was Many people who trade these stocks use retail or commercial brokers like Robinhood, Webull, TD Ameritrade, and Charles Schwab. What happened that day was right when the stock markets opened, they closed trading for those stocks. What that basically did was any common man who's investing in stocks cannot trade or sell. But it allowed still for bigger corporations to do it. So many people speculated the reason for this was because, at least in Robinhood's case, one of their biggest financial backers was trying to short GameStop. So this led to a whole congressional hearing and multiple class action lawsuits against Robinhood. The last event I want to talk about is the rise and dip, basically, of Dogecoin. As you can see here, you can see how much Dogecoin has risen and lowered. This is due to different supports, like it raised when Snoop Dogg supported it, Mark Cuban and the Mavericks supported it, Elon Musk and SpaceX supported it. Now, when you see at the peak where it's around 70 cents, it dipped a lot because Elon Musk, don't know why, went on SNL and called it a hustle, basically cutting the price in half. Now, here's the big thing that everyone wants to know. Can I make money off of this? Can I get a lot of attendees? Well, let's take a look at these two graphs. We have one graph from GameStop, the meme stock, and one from an actual stock, Disney. Now, if you look at GameStop, you can see multiple fluctuations. When you look at Disney, there is some fluctuations, but the key point is the graph's legend. So GameStop, the lows that you see there is $5, the high is $350. Whereas Disney, the low is roughly $140 and the high is roughly $210. So there's a lot smaller deviation with a real stock compared to a meme stock. So that's why a lot of people will say that meme stocks are not actual investments. They're just gambling. Now, let's put some actual numbers to this. So this is an example of my investments into meme stocks. So as you can see, it between every couple of days, it would either raise or lower. If you look at the first two from January 25th to 27th, up maybe 100. And 5 days later, I lost half of my money. Then I gained it all back, lost more, and I ended up quadrupling my money. And if you look at May 7th to May 12th, within a 5-day period, I lost over $3,000. So this is why I would say that this is not really a investment. It's a big gamble. Now, let's go ahead and recap what happened or all about meme stocks. So meme stocks, if you're ever thinking about getting into it, this is not real investment. You're just gambling your money in hopes that other people as a collective will increase the price as well. And as you see from the graphs, they are highly volatile. Now, the last thing I would like to point out, again, is I am not giving anyone financial advice, nor am I a financial advisor. So take everything I say with lightly. You don't follow what I do. You can go out and do whatever the heck you want. I am not telling you what to do, so do not sue me. Thank you, and I do not have any time for questions, but if you are curious, you can just hit me up and I'll let you know all my experiences with meme stocks.
Thank you, Will, for that. And let me share my screen now. And with that, that's it. Unless, let me click the next slide. A new speaker has appeared. What? That's crazy. I wonder who it is. We played enough Smash Bros. Melee to unlock a Ness. Just kidding. It's me. Surprise. I do apologize that we are over time, but hopefully you guys can stay for one last presentation. I'll stop sharing my screen and then let's start. Hopefully you guys have fun. If you are a co-host, I don't know, spotlight me, I guess. I don't really know. Let me start presenting. Let me share my screen. I have a video real quick just to make sure that you can hear it properly. This is not the presentation. My presentation is on Awkward, which is a group of Love Live. But guys, if you want, please say something if you can hear it.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
Were you guys okay? That's good. That's good. And with that, let's begin.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
All right, and with that, let's begin. Hello, my name is Ian Gonzalez. You know me as the host of this event and also the social director of Fusion. And today, my topic is an idol group of Love Live called Aquars. This idol group changed my life, whether it is for the better or worse. I feel like if you know me before UCI, you might hate them because I was really annoying about them. If you know me post after I joined UCI, you might hate me because I'm so annoying about it. It doesn't matter. It's Love Live. And before I want to start my presentation, I'm going to give you a quick recap on what Love Live is. So what is Love Live? Well, Love Live is a multimedia project revolving around the concept of school idols. While the main characters are anime girls becoming school idols, their voice actresses or seiyus are just as much as important in the series. In the bottom right, you can actually see the voice actresses and their anime counterparts back to back. As you can see, they have the same idol, the same clothes, same mannerisms, because they are their characters. The project started in 2010 with their first group, Muse, and today there are currently 3 generations as well as a side group. I will go over them a bit later. The franchise has expanded into multiple anime television series, light novels, mangas, games, and even live in-person concerts. Fun fact, the final concert of Muse, which is the bottom right group, they sold out Tokyo Dome, which is a really big stadium in Japan. Fun fact, another fun fact actually is that I have seen their second group, Aquars, twice during Anime Expo 2018 and 2019. Grant, I know you're there. You also were there in 2019. So here are the list of the main Love Live groups. I'm not going to go over the side groups like Saint Snow or Arise because they are not really the main groups. So first we have Muse on the very left. The first group, the honorary group, I know Will is a huge fan of them, and they started from 2010 and ended in 2016. Followed by them is Aquars, the group that I'm going to present about, the group that I simp for, the group that you've seen me cosplay of. And they started in 2015, and they are still currently active. Next is the Nijigasaki High School Idol Club, which is a spin-off group which was originally made to help advertise one of the games, but they ended up developing a good franchise and following that they started becoming more popular. But they are still not the real third generation, and they started in 2017. Finally, last but not least, is Liela, the true third generation of Love Live. They just started last year, and yeah, they're still going. I really don't know anything about them. I have not been that active with the Love Live community. And now that you kind of get a gist of what Love Live is, let's play. I guess the recap's opening. Let's cue up the opening.